Good evening. I'm Daniel Lee, and I am a huge supporter of the American way of life. So much so that I took an oath swearing to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I would also like to inform you, as a disclaimer, that this is just a persuasive presentation and is not meant to be disrespectful to anyone. I would like to go over hunting, tyrannical governments, and law enforcement. So let's get started. The United States of America gained its independence 4 July 1776, and hunting was used as a primary food source and was heavily relied on. According to a book, Gun Control in America, written by Hunter Dean Wickle, firearms were part of American heritage, providing food, safety, and securing a free state. Owning a firearm was a way of life and had economic means to support the owner's family and guarantee that there would always be food on the table. Additionally, it provided a safety net from intruders and aggressive wildlife that was local to the area. The idea of not owning a firearm at this time would have been very rare. Sure, not owning a firearm was an option, but then how would you have eaten? Especially during the winter months when garden harvest would lack. If you were against firearms at that time, then you wouldn't have eaten. Or maybe you would have, but the extent of your meals would have been slim. The argument can be made that times have changed, and this is true, but if there's ever an economic collapse, would you be able to provide for your family? Let's jump to the present day and talk about law enforcement. New York Times published an article 9 April 2013. At least 14 people were injured, 4 of them seriously, in a stabbing attack at a community college campus in Houston suburbs. The authorities said a 20-year-old student, Dylan Quick, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault in the attack of a Cy-Fair campus of Lone Star College. Officials said that he appeared to have attacked students at random, with a razor-type knife before students and staff members wrestled him to the ground and de-armed him. The Harris County Sheriff's Office said the statement that the suspect had been planning an attack at the campus for some time and had fantasies of stabbing people to death since he was in elementary school. So the idea that law enforcement officials should be able to use weapons is great, and I completely support it, 100%. The police officers that are bound to protect the citizens in which they operate are not always at the right place at the right time. After all, they are only human. My grandparents live in a rural area that is about 20 to 30 minutes away from a police station, and they have been robbed several times while they were away from their home, and 2 attempts have been made to enter their house while they were present in hours of darkness. The police were called, and the trespassers continued to attempt to enter, even after the message was relayed to them that the police were on their way. Luckily, the individuals were not actually able to get into the home. And if they did make it into the home, they would have been met with force. In this instance, that force would have been a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. By the time the police got to the residence, the trespassers were long gone. People often argue that firearms should be reserved for individuals working in law enforcement agencies. But what about citizens' arrests? What about criminals that would have entered my grandparents' home? What if it was your home and your life and your family at risk? Would you want that firearm for protection? Would you want to be able to protect your loved ones and the people that you care about? If all the guns were outlawed and no guns were available to the public, this is what the case would be. But isn't meth, cocaine, and heroin illegal? So when law-abiding citizens turn in their weapons, then the lawbreakers, aka criminals, rapists, and robbers, just received a safer work environment. In an article in Forbes magazine published April 4th of 2013, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, U.S. gun-related homicides dropped 39% over the course of 18 years, from 18,253 during 1993 to 11,101 during 2011. During the same period, non-fatal firearm crimes decreased even more, a whopping 69%. This was during a time when gun sales spiked, and for criminals, law-abiding gun owners are a hazard. Let's talk about the government. According to the United States Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to secure their possessions, their houses, homes, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, and this shall not be violated, and no warrants shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by an oath of affirmation, and particularly describe the place, the reason to be searched, and the person and things to be seized. Well, what protects all of these rights? Well, that's the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right to the people to keep and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment is part of the checks and balances system, but is reserved for the people. Sure, people can have their opinion against gun rights, and that is part of an American right, and being able to enjoy that as an American citizen. However, people also must remember that their opinion is nothing more than their own opinion. George Washington once said, "Firearms stand next in importance to the Constitution. They are the America's people's liberty teeth and the keystone under independence." From the Pilgrims that landed here to present day, events, occurrences, and tendencies prove to ensure peace, security, and happiness. The rifle and the pistol are equally indispensable. The very atmosphere of firearms anywhere restrains evil interface, and they deserve a place of honor with all that is good. Additionally, Thomas Jefferson stated, "The beauty of the Second Amendment is that it will not be needed until they try and take it. The people will not understand the importance of the Second Amendment until it is too late." We talked about hunting, law enforcement, and tyrannical government. You've also listened to some quotes from our founding fathers, and I hope that you have all been able to take something from this. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.